This content is for educational purposes only. What you do with this information is at your own risk. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be setting up an emulation station on a Windows PC. Since I've been doing emulation videos on the Nintendo Switch, I had a comment asking if I can show how to do the same thing on a Windows PC. So I went ahead and decided to use an emulation station because if you got to see my RetroPie video on the Nintendo Switch, I love the ease of access with it, that once you set up the emulation station, everything is there for you once you enter it. You can scroll through any emulator that you want or that it can handle and just play right there. Even setting up the controllers, everything is just nice and neat instead of having a bunch of emulators installed on the desktop. So that's what I went with it. It's not RetroPie this time. It's going to be called Retrobat, but the end result is the same, the ease of access of everything. And this is going to be a pretty big series if everything goes well, because there's a lot of information here, especially with the PC. There's a lot more options. There's a lot more support for it. And if your PC is strong enough, you can have up to the PS3 emulation with Xbox 360 and anything under that, even the Nintendo Switch. So I'll be picking and choosing which emulator I want to do on separate videos. But on today's video, we're going to be just setting up the basics of it. So you'll have like the SNES and the Sega GBA and just those small basic ones, even PS1 and things like that at the end of the video, where I'll show some examples of it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so if you look at the description down below, there's going to be several links. And one of them should say, click here to download Retrobat. Once you click on that link, it should take you to this page here. And then next, click on this option for download now. After this, it's going to take you to another website, and you're going to click on this option for download now. Then it's going to pop up an option for donation, and this part is completely up to you if you want to donate to the devs. It does have another option here for no thanks, just take me to the downloads. So once you decide what you want to do, I'm going to click here on this link, and it's going to take you straight to the downloads. Here is the download section. We're going to want to click on this first download option here. I'm going to click on it. And then once it starts downloading up here, we can go ahead and close out of this thanks for downloading screen. And down here is the dependencies that we need in order for Retrobat to run correctly. So you may already have DirectX and the VC++, but it doesn't hurt to try and reinstall it. Maybe you're missing something, maybe it's been updated, but you gotta install these things. So we're gonna go ahead and click on the first link. It's gonna take us to another page. Here, just go ahead and click on this download option here. It's gonna start the downloading process, which is this right here. And then after that's done, we're gonna go back to the previous link here on this second tab that was opened up. Close out of the ad. And then now we need to download the VC++. So click on that link and then click on the download option here. So once you do that, it's going to tell you on which server you want to use. Depending on where you're at in the world, you can choose the server here. I'm going to choose this server. That's this one. I don't think it really matters. I think it's just how fast and how long it will take to download. I believe that's the case. But it already finished for me. And now I'm going to move everything to a separate folder here just to keep everything organized. It's up to you if you want to create this folder, but I like to have everything inside a separate folder just to have organization. So once I open up the downloads, I'm going to move everything there. And it should look like this. You'll have the Retrobat version and then the dependencies. So we can go ahead and do the dependencies first. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. Just go ahead and double click on it to start with it. Accept the agreement because you have to. And here's an option to install the Bing bar. I don't want nothing else installed, so I'm going to uncheck that, but it's up to you. And then click on next. Start the installation of this. I'm not sure if I have it. I think I do have it already installed. But go ahead and complete this. All right, so once this is complete, we can go ahead and click on finish. And then here, this one is actually zipped. So I like to use my zipping software 7-Zip. If you want to follow along with me, I'll leave a download link in the description as well. So with 7-Zip, I'm going to right click and then I'm going to open the archive so I can see everything in here. And it shows a bunch of files and stuff to install, but we just want this install all bat so we can do everything. And in this case, just to keep it safe again, I'm going to create a new folder and then I'm going to put everything inside that new folder. So I'm going to highlight everything. I'm probably overdoing it, but just to make sure it's as minimal issues that we shouldn't have as possible. So with that, once everything is extracted to the new folder, I'm going to just click on this option here to install all and let it install. It keeps flickering. Just click on yes for everything that it asks you. There we go. Now, once you have all the dependencies installed, we can now go back and now we can do the Retrobat setup. So just double click on this to start the installation wizard. Here it says select the language. For me, it's English. Click on next. Accept the agreement because we have no choice. Then it says here the dependencies, but we already installed them. Click on next. It's going to be in the C drive or wherever you want to have it installed. Create a desktop shortcut because that's important. And then install. Yes, and click on yes if it asks you any extra questions. So you can see here it's already doing the BIOS, and I saw that it said Dolphin, it's saying MAME, it said PSP. I can see that there's so many different types of options that are supported on the PC, and I think this is going to be a really good series. And for some time now, I've been planning on getting a handheld PC. That way I can show you how much cooler it is, in my opinion, because then you can have the Switch on that and the PS3. I don't know how long it's going to take for a PS4 emulator, but I don't think it's going to be that much longer because of how long it's already been out. I'm not even sure if there's a PS4 emulator out there, but maybe there might be one that comes out. All right, so once it's done, you can go ahead and click on finish. And that's pretty much it, actually. We don't need this folder anymore, but it's up to you if you want to keep it. And now we have Retrobat installed. But before we do a test run, let's go ahead and look into the important files and folders that are needed for Retrobat to run smoothly or work at all. So this is what I'm talking about. If you go to the shortcut on the desktop and right click, then you look for this option that says Open File Location. And here is the important files and folders that I was talking about, starting with the BIOS files. Now I can't show you where to get them or how to find them, but if you have them, you can go ahead and put them all inside of here. Now inside, there are subfolders for each BIOS files. You don't have to put your BIOS files in there. You could just throw everything inside this folder automatically. So even if you have folders, just replace them, whatever, if you have everything set up that way. And then here is the ROMs folder. This is where you enter here and you have the subfolders for all your cores that you want to try and use. And unfortunately, I can't show you where to get the ROMs and how to find them as well. But once you do, then you would put them in here. So that way Retrobat can pick them up. And some of the cores are going to be pre-installed because it runs off of RetroArch, I believe. And that one already has some cores already set in place. So once you put them in here, you should be able to see them. Even cores that are not installed, I believe if you put a PS2 game, it'll pop up, but you still need to install the PS2 emulator. But I'm going to try it out and see if it shows it, but I'm not too sure on that. So I'm going to add my own BIOS files and my own ROMs. That way we can see how it looks like in Retrobat. But other files here is the cheats folder, the saves folder. Here in the emulation station, every time you open up Retrobat, it does a boot sequence where it shows like the logo and things like that. If you go into this emulation station folder, then go into .emulation station, Here is the music that it has while it's playing, and it has video too. These are the sample videos. You could change them for yourself. You could get rid of them if you like, because sometimes it takes a while to load showing these boot sequences. Maybe you don't like them at all, but it's up to you. You can go ahead and change these. Maybe I'll show that in a different video, but just letting you know that that's how it is. It has custom music too. When you first open it up, it's going to be playing music in the background as you're scrolling through your ROMs and things like that. So with that, just letting you know those folders. The main folders is going to be the BIOS files, which you're going to just do one time. If you have everything, just throw it all in there, and the ROMs folders. Next one would be the emulators, because I believe some emulators will require to have the ROMs files inside the emulator folder. So I think like the PS3 folder may need the ROMs files inside of it. I'm not too sure, but we're going to cover that in a different video. So that's pretty much it for this. The next thing we would have is a BAT GUI, and I believe here is just like a more front end look at looking into like specs and what we need. Like if we want to use the PS3 emulator, it's going to tell you what kind of file formats you can use. You have other options here. This is a completely different GUI than what it was on 5.0. So I don't even know that much on my own, but it looks like it has a completely different GUI than what it did before. But if there's anything of importance, I'll do that most likely in a different video as well. But we are done here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some ROMs to my folders, and I'm going to add some BIOS files. That way we can test it out in Retrobat. So I'll get back to you when I'm done. Alright, so I went ahead and added my BIOS files and my ROMs. Let's go ahead and open up Retrobat and see how it looks. Alright, so if it's your first time opening up Retrobat, you will most likely not see any cores like you can see as mine, because I added ROMs. If you don't have any ROMs, it's not going to show this. Also, if you're hearing music in the background, I already tried this and I was hoping that I could show you, but if you have any music in the background, you can push the start button on your controller, or you can navigate to the menus on the start down here on the bottom left, and you can go to sound settings, and here it has front end music that you can turn on and turn off. So it should play now. Yeah, so now I have music playing in the background. If you don't want that music, you can turn it off here. There you go. So that's pretty much it for basic setup of this. Oh, look, it actually popped up on here. That's pretty cool. It's not installed. It won't let me play it until it's installed, but that's going to be on a different video after this one. For basic things like PS1, the Game Boy, all these things already have the cores from the RetroArch, I believe. So if we open it, here I have some games. Now, you're not going to have custom art automatically. You have to scrape them yourselves. So let's go with one that I don't have. Let's say Super Nintendo. So I don't have them here. So this is normally what you're going to see. There are two options that you can do when you want to get some cover art. You can hover over your games and then press the start button and then go down to scraper. If you have a screen scraper login, you would have to do that manually on the BAT GUI, I think, because I don't think you can sign in from here. Not sure. Oh yeah, you can do your username and password here on the screen scraper, which is most likely the better option. And if you don't, you can try and use the games DB, because that's what I did with the NES. And then you can scrape now. So go ahead and click all. Oops. Well, it's not letting me do it now. Let's go to PS3, PS1. All right. Scrape. Scrape now. I think it's because I tried scraping them. But if you're having this issue like I am, I believe you can hover over the game and then go right here to the right hand side, right under my head, and then click in this area, and then you can go to scrape on manually. Once you click on that, it will look for the screen scraper. And since I don't have an account, if you don't have an account, it won't work. But if you do it this way, it will actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And now it's downloading the image for me. I think it's faster the other way. I don't know if you can hear me if it's too loud. But this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. If you have the screen scraper login and password, you can do it that way as well. But since I don't have it, I have to manually do it like this. So wish I had something better for y'all, but I don't. So this is the best way I can do it. And I like the screen scraper because it actually has video. Like the ones I was trying to do was just, looks like it doesn't even have images. I'm not sure what this is. Just maybe art, box art. Oh, it's downloading already. There we go. So now when I do this, I can just hover over it, get a little bit of what it looks like. So it didn't work for me on here, Super Nintendo. I can do the exact same thing with here. So I'm going to go to scrape. And then screen scraper. Looks like this one, HFS DB, had it too. There you go. Let's see. Scrape. Scrape. This one had it too. I wonder if I could do it from here. But this is maybe a better option. Maybe not. But this is working. So if I have a better option for you, the screen scraper is going to be the best option. If you have a sign in, you could just do them all automatically. But since I don't have a sign in, I don't have that option. There you go. This one is not there either. Scrape. The screen scraper has, oh, that's so cool. Let me put some audio so you can hear it. There we go. I hope you can hear it now. So this one I did with the DB. That games DB automatically did it for me. But I think I can just go to scrape and do the same thing. I like having the little video. So let's see if it'll do it for me here. Oh, there we go. I don't think I can have that sound on my screen. So if you have multiple games that you added in here, like here I have 27 and it didn't work, it's just not in the cards for me to do this constantly. But if you want to, most likely I'm gonna do it like this because I don't want to make an account. It's free and it's easy to do. I just don't want to do it. There we go. That's how it works for me. I don't think I can do the PS2 like scrape. Let's see. Oh, it does let me do it. Okay. Cool. I can't play it because it's going to have me install it, and that's going to be for a different video. But this is pretty cool. Wow. All right. So that's pretty much it. Everything does work. Let's say if I want to try any one of these games, just go ahead and play it. If you ever have any messages that BIOS is not working, then you can you should be okay because you have the BIOS files in there. It should automatically do it. You also have automatic controller configure, so even if you're playing like Dreamcast or Nintendo, PlayStation, it's always going to be configured to PlayStation. I like the Nintendo Switch where you're using the buttons for all of them. Now, I believe you can have this bezel, so you can see that I'm playing on a PS1 bezel. I don't know how to turn it off, to be honest. But I wanted to show y'all that if you wanted to get off this game, if you want to get out of this game, you can just push plus and select and start, and it'll take you out of the games. Let me get out of here. That's pretty much it for this video. This is going to be just the basic setup guide. You can do all your old school retro gaming from, I think, Dreamcast and down, I believe, or PS1 and down, and in between, things like that. So I'm gonna just do some gameplay so you can see. I'm gonna see if I'll show you a little bit more, that if I add more ROMs, the more you can see, and that way you can see a whole full set. Next, other videos I can get into like changing the themes. If you go to, I think if you just push start here and then user interface, you can change the themes. So right now we have no themes, and you can adjust the themes and things like that. So I don't want to get too much into it, but just towards the end of the video, I'm just gonna do some random movements showing you that there's more, maybe a different theme that I install, because this is the default one, which looks pretty nice. But that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions. If it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, I'll try and help you out as best as I can. Let me know if it does. Let me know if you try it. Let me know which core you want to see first: PS3, Xbox 360, PS2, something in between. If there's any options, maybe the Nintendo Switch, if that is still an option. Looks like it's gonna be, what is it, the Ryugenix, maybe. Most likely it's gonna be that. If I go in here and if I try and enter it, it's gonna ask me if I want to install it, right? Oh wow, it's not there. But for example, I can go to the, there you go, PlayStation 3, just to show you that when I want to start it, it's gonna ask me if I want to install it. And then I think this one I have to do it manually, but you know, I'm gonna get to that in a different video. I'm just trying to get through most of it here. So if you have any questions, let me know. And other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.